Hey, good evening. It's another Monday night and time for your Monday night agent webinar. Al Branke here. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We have a lot of folks on the phone. I had problems getting in myself tonight, so I see some other people are trying to get in right now. Hopefully the technical difficulties will dissipate soon. But for those of you on the call, we do this every Monday night. We keep it nice and brief, 20 minutes to a half hour, and it's really a culmination of best practices, product training, and every now and then we get a guest speaker. So our business is really not much different than other businesses in that the Pareto principle applies. You know the old 80-20 rule, 80% of the production comes from 20% of the people. In our case, it might be more like 90-10. And anyone who gets into our business space, as well as anyone else's, they do so with a lot of positive feelings and with all good intention. But unfortunately, life happens. Some people's situation changes, other folks, maybe their attitude changes. So, failure is unfortunately an unavoidable part of life, and while it's never fun to fail at something, failure offers a good opportunity to grow and learn from mistakes. However, if you're finding yourself failing a little more often than you'd like, it might be time to address some issues. Now, we had a bet, Alicia Jackson and I, on the Eagles-Cowboys game. So Alicia was tasked with tonight's topic and putting this together tonight. She did a pretty good job. And by the way, she lost the football bet, the Eagles and Cowboys, and hates the Eagles and me in that order. But this is basically the top reasons, according to Alicia, why people fail. It says 10 reasons. We actually have 11. We have a bonus one. So the agenda tonight, we're going to list the top reasons that keep people from succeeding. We're going to offer ways and advice on how to overcome some of these obstacles, and of course we'll have our weekly Q&A. So, starting the countdown, one of the reasons people don't succeed is because they don't believe. The brain is a powerful problem-solving and prediction-making machine, and it operates via a multitude of feedback loops. What matters most in the feedback loop is input. What goes into the loop that begins the analysis, evaluation, action process, which ultimately results in an outcome. Well, here's the kicker. If your input shuttle for achieving a goal lacks the critical, emotionally relevant component of belief, then the feedback loop is drained of octane right from the start. And another way to say that is, why would you expect a convincingly successful outcome when you haven't convinced yourself that it's possible? Well, with regard to our products, the proof is definitely in the pudding. When you look at your back office reports, the numbers pretty much speak for themselves. All agents should also be enrolled in the Plus program because the services can benefit everyone, including you, and experiencing these services creates the perfect third-party testimonial. Listen, if you have a great experience, it's much easier to sell it or sell the concept. So another reason why people fail is that, well, maybe other people have convinced you of your station in life. What's more damaging than that? The idea often heaved upon us by other people, and they convince us that we're what we are, and we better just live that way because, it is what it is. But really, who said so? Show me the chapter on predetermined stations in the cosmic rule book, please, somebody. This also gets back to the feedback loop, because if this external station scripting is part of your input, you can't expect subpar outcomes all the time, or you can, I should say. So what you really need to do here is put more faith in your beliefs and not in what others say you should be doing. Another reason people fail is they just don't want it enough. Often to get things you want, you're going to have to want it badly. Use whatever motivates you to do your absolute best, whether it be growing your business to the point that it becomes your full-time job, or simply creating some spending money. Just try to envision yourself succeeding at whatever you're working towards, and that way you'll be pushed to do better. Here's a real common one. I just don't have the time. Well, guess what? Everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. What you need to do is manage your time. You'll make the time for things you really want to do, right? If you want to go to the movies, you'll find time to do it. Pharmacies are open late, so if you work 9 to 5, well, you can hit 5 pharmacies on your way home from work. Or many folks that I know that are in our platform are single parents. Well, you can hit pharmacies after the kids are fed. It doesn't take that long to call on multiple pharmacies because there are so many in such close proximity. How about doctor's offices? You can actually call them during your lunch hour. And let's not forget weekends and days off. Any piece of time that you can dedicate towards this business will get you that much closer to where you want to be. Probably one of the largest reasons is people just give up. For some people, failing once means never trying again. Well, unfortunately, most people give up right before they break through. But there's a lot to be said for those who bounce back and keep trying. It shows persistence, which often leads to success. Now, don't get discouraged after failing once or even twice. No one succeeds without failing first. You have to. In fact, the most successful people have failed the most. So get back to the finish line and get back in the race. And remember, when you came into this business, we told you it's not a get rich quick business opportunity. It certainly takes time to build, so you have to give it time. And another one is that people just don't have goals, and that's probably the majority of folks that fail. I've mentioned on many occasions the story of a modern-day philosopher who wrote about success and attitude and explained the fact that most people are like ships at sea, just hoping to drift into port. They have no game plan. Well, guess what? You can't succeed if you don't know what you want. If you haven't defined what constitutes success, you can never reach it. So make sure you have a very clear idea of what success means to you. That way, you'll have a concrete goal in mind, and you can work towards that goal and eventually reach it. The other point there is that once a week, you should make a list of your goals for the week, and then make a list for your daily goals to help yourself maintain those that week's set of goals. Check this number out. This is actually a true statement. 42% more likely to achieve your goals just by writing them down. It's positive reinforcement when you do that. Here's one of my favorites. They don't heed advice from others or use the tools available to them. They know everything. Listen, folks, there's a reason we spent months building the most comprehensive back office in the industry, bar none. The RxCut Agent back office trainings are an exact blueprint for success. They teach knowledge, industry-specific direction, and are a culmination of best practices that have been time-tested. When working this business, it's really important to know what you're talking about, as people are often cynical when something sounds, just a little too good to be true, and doesn't our product sound that way? I always let agents know that I'm available to assist in closing business, but only a small percentage take advantage of that. You can ask anyone who's ever asked me for either advice or assistance in closing a prospect. I've got a better than 90% closing ratio, so why try to do it alone, especially if you're relatively new? You don't make any less in commissions when I'm involved, so use your resources. My favorite crew right here. There's just too many excuses. In my old corporate life, we call these folks professional victims. And instead of making excuses as to why you may be failing, I'll try thinking about what the real reasons are for your lack of success. The sooner you face these reasons, the sooner you can get back on track to success. So you want to address any major issues as quickly as possible, and don't be afraid to look yourself in the mirror and be honest as to why you aren't reaching your goals. Listen, we all fail, and there's always a reason for it, and we can be much better for it once we think it through. Another one, yes, they're all talk and no show. We all know someone who talks a big game that never follows through, so don't be that person. You should plan to talk things out with others, but don't let that get in the way of actually doing something. Let your results do all the talking for you, because at the end of the day, your numbers are what it's all about. We have agents that have been with us for months now and are still planning to get going. Well, don't plan. It's time to do. Get going. First of all, the best teacher is experience, and the best way to learn, we call it by baptism by fire. Get out there. Yeah, you'll make a fool of yourself a couple of times, but you'll always wind up never doing that again, because once you're embarrassed about something, you'll know the answer the next time. A lot of folks are kind of inflexible. They don't consider alternatives. So you tried working nonprofits and it hasn't panned out. Well, try tackling from a different angle. You might just be surprised how many things you can accomplish if you just tried approaching it in a slightly different way. The definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over and over and expecting a different result. It just doesn't happen. Good salespeople are always changing and improving the things they do, which reinvigorates them and really gives them a new life and fresh legs. Now, if you aren't having success calling on doctor's offices, we'll switch it up to nonprofits or maybe pharmacies. A change of pace and approach is sometimes exactly what you need to recharge your business efforts, your batteries, and your outlook. My all-time favorite, just too negative. Focusing on the negatives. The back office is down again. This pharmacy didn't take my card. I gave out 20 cards yesterday. No one used them. Guess what? Yeah, there are a lot of negative circumstances in life, but many you have no control over, so why sweat it? There are also plenty of positive experiences in your life, and I'm willing to bet that you've got more positives than negatives in your life. So that means you're capable of living with a positive perspective. If you want to cultivate success in your life, then you need to concentrate on all the good. Now, you shouldn't disregard the negative, but you don't have to give it so much of your attention. Otherwise, you're never going to be satisfied because you're so focused on the unfavorable conditions in your life. Even if you reach a high level of success, your continued focus on the negatives will prevent you from enjoying accomplishments. And the last one, actually you got a bonus one, 11, and this is probably the biggest. Fearing failure. Well, guess what, folks? Everyone fails. You're going to fail, so there's no reason to fear it. Rather, you should embrace it, learn from it, and ultimately improve from it. When you're successful, you know you are always trying your best. When you fail, it's not a reflection on you as a person. You're not a flawed individual. View failure as an opportunity to grow, not as something to be feared. Like the first time you go into a pharmacy, it's going to feel odd. You're not going to know anything you're talking about. You're going to get hit with questions you can't answer. Who cares? You're not taking the tech home for dinner. The more you do it, the better you get at it, because practice makes perfect. You just have to jump in the pool and start swimming. So to summarize, believe in our products. They absolutely work. And you know it if you've been with us, because you've seen your transactions in the back office. Do not let others convince you of your station in life. Only you can do that. In order to succeed, you need to have to want to. You need the desire. Everyone has the same 24 hours in the same day. Make yours count. Most people give up just before they break through. And once again, this is not a get-rich-quick business. It certainly takes time. You need to learn our products and our approach in order to succeed, because knowledge is power. And take advantage of the resources, including the trainings in your back office and me, if you have a sizable prospect. Don't be a professional victim. No excuses. And you need to put your action where your mouth is. You want to be flexible and willing to change if what you're doing now is not working, and understand that negative thoughts become negative actions, obtaining negative results. Positive mental attitude. And never be afraid to fail, because everyone does. And it's not how many times you fail that counts. It's actually how many times you get up. We ran through those pretty quickly. So we have actually time for a bonus round. You know, a lot of folks spend a lot of time on the phone, and there's all kinds of ways to get blown off. So we're going to go over the top 6 prospect excuses not have to talk to you. Number 1 is, hey, can you send or email me something? Well, the translation to that, it's easier to ignore you through email. If a prospect were truly interested, he or she would take at least a few minutes and talk to you right then, just to determine if there's a need. Now, if somebody asks for that after a conversation, absolutely. You want to send them info. But if he blows you off out of the gate, I wouldn't waste my time typing up an email. Another good one, I'm in a meeting. Translation, I've got no time to talk, and I'm hoping this illusion of interruption will get you off the phone quickly. I really love this one. So you're in an actual meeting in your office. You don't know who's calling, but you pick up the phone anyway? Really? Salespeople fall for this all the time. And at this point, the salesperson keeps calling, but guess what? Now the prospect knows the phone number through caller ID, and I'll just avoid the call. We don't have budget at this time. It doesn't really apply to our business model, but if you have another job, it just might. The translation of that is, I just don't see the benefit, and having no money will make you go away, at least for a while. Money is an interesting thing. People will find money for what they determine will bring them value. We often blow this one by trying to quickly show how our product will save them money or make them money. The response, yeah, right. It doesn't matter whether it's true or not. You can't shove your idea of value down the throat on a phone call. The next one, call me after the third quarter ends. Translation, wow, I just put you off for at least a few months. Salespeople like this one because it gives them something they can follow up on, at least in their mind. This is where follow-up, in my opinion, becomes stalking. The salesperson keeps calling when this date arrives, and the prospect will not even remember he or she told you to call. let alone mean it when she said it. The next one, we're good right now. We can check back later. Translation, see the previous translation. I said, gee, thank you so much for allowing me to check back. You must really like me or be interested. Yeah, right. And the last one, I'll think it over and get back to you. Translation, I have no intention of reaching back out to you, but I ask for the next move to be done by me. This is no move at all, but people may happily agree and wait for the phone to ring, but it never happens. What's funny is that they would rather take any of these excuses than actually hear what the real truth is, most commonly no. When you get comfortable and you treat this business or any sales like a game, then you just move on to the next one. When you get comfortable with asking them right up front for a no as an option, you won't waste so much of your time, energy, and lose control of the sales process. So that actually, very quick one, 8:17. I talked real fast tonight, 17 minutes. We have some time for a Q&A, so if anyone's got questions out there, now's the time to ask. And you can do so in one of two ways. If you called into the phone, on your dashboard, there is actually an audio PIN number you'll have to enter, and then you can raise your hand and I can unmute you. If you came in through your computer speakers and mic, then you simply could just raise your hand if you have any questions, or you can type a question down here. Okay, who we got here? Lisa Jackson, how are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
You have me on speaker by any chance?
Yeah.
Can you take me off speaker? Or is that just your computer?
That's my computer.
Okay, all right. How are you? What can we do?
Good. Good. One question I have, and I have a couple, is what do you suggest when you're starting to feel complacent about what you're doing, and how do you get yourself really motivated to, I don't know, get yourself going again?
Vodka.
What?
Vodka always works. Yes. Well, sometimes you just have to walk away for a little bit and take a deep breath. Sometimes you have to change up your approach. I have this webinar that I do constantly, and after a few weeks, after I've done 6, 7, 8, or 9 of them, it starts to sound stale in my own mind. So I'll just rewrite it and put a different spin on it. In our business, you've got a lot of avenues to work. So if you're tired of working nonprofits, you can switch it up and work insurance brokers or pet-related businesses. And sometimes that change is refreshing, and it gives you a little more energy, and it renews your spirits. But yeah, I mean, first and foremost, if you're doing it a lot, maybe you just need a break to walk away for a little bit, and maybe it's time to change things up and change the direction of who and what you're working with.
Okay. And have you heard of the app called Wunderlist? I was thinking about that when you were talking about goals.
Wunderlist, did you say?
Wunderlist. It's Wunderlist, and I'm just suggesting it because for my other work I do that, and it's an app where you can, you put it in your phone, and you can do it through your iPad or through your, computer or whatever, and it gives you dings. Have you done this yet? Have you done this yet? And it kind of helps you keep on track of what your goals are through the day, the week, and all of that, and kind of like your own goal calendar, if you will.
And that's Wunderlist, huh?
Yeah, Wunderlist. It's a great tool, and I just wanted to throw that out there. That it certainly helped me with keeping on track with other things. And
well, I appreciate that, and I haven't heard of that, so I'll definitely take a look at it myself. It sounds like it might be an easy app to work. So it's something you just download to your phone?
Yeah, you can download it to your phone, to your computer, to your iPad, to whatever, and you can categorize it however you want, whether it's work or personal or how many alerts you want to have and how often. Again, it's kind of like a goal calendar.
Cool, nice. So do me a favor, send me the link to that, and what I'll do is I'll shoot it out to everyone in the blast this week.
Okay. And my last question, the bonus round. So when you're talking about prospect excuses, does that mean like when they're saying that to you, you just shouldn't go after them anymore at all and just move on?
No, not at all, not at all. I mean, but these are the smoke screens that you get, the smoke and mirrors they throw up out there, and a lot of people will think that folks are kind of sincere. There's some tricks to get around that. I really can't go into that in depth on the phone tonight or on the call, but maybe that'll be a subject of another training webinar. But I want people not to get their hopes up too high when they hear any of these responses, because it usually is a way just to get you off the phone. Not that they're not interested; they're probably too busy at the time. And that's actually a good topic for another call. So thanks for that question, and thanks for putting this together. Appreciate it, Alicia. So next we have Peter actually chimed in with a question. After a good call, how soon should you follow up? Well, it depends on really what their agenda is, what their time frame is, and where things are in the sales process. That can vary from a couple of days to maybe a few weeks to a month. So you definitely don't want to get off a call without action items and another call scheduled, because some people are very hard to get in touch with, especially if it's a C-level executive. So good question, Peter, but it really is driven by the prospect and their timelines and what's on their plate. Obviously, the sooner the better, but you certainly want to try to schedule that before getting off the phone or getting off that call the first time. It's a good question. Next, we have Howard Fryman. Howard, can you hear me?
Hi, Al. Actually, the Cowboys will come back.
Yes, I'm sure they will, and so will Grant. That was your question?
Okay.
Well, it ain't happening this year. I'll guarantee you that. Go
ahead. Well, Jerry's got too much money sunk in him.
That's true. Sunk in his face.
I have looked at on my phone. I've searched. Is there? You were talking about downloading an app. Is there an RxCut app in the works?
Yes, there is. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's going to be some news very soon. Eric Shugarts right now is is down in the data holes. He's been programming like crazy with an outside firm, so that'll be coming sooner than later, and it'll be a fully optimized mobile site. Basically, it's going to be your website, but it's going to be able to tell if it's a smartphone or a smart device, and it will actually change the look and feel than it does on the regular website. So hopefully that announcement will be coming sooner than later.
And you may have remembered a couple of weeks ago I had a hard time getting in, and you said no, it's easy from our end. I don't know when you all had the website down and when it came back up. Actually, it's working so much better now. I don't know if it was something in the software, but I'm encouraged. I'm actually in a Walmart store. The pharmacist will not, of course, keep the cards there, but I actually give out the cards. I'm at a Medicare kiosk, and I give out the cards, and slowly I'm seeing it trickle in the results of it. And I had one this past week that the savings was over $100, and I wanted to call you privately and say, hey, is this a misprint?
No, I mean, in your back office, let me see if I can find it right here. In your back office, there is a segment in a library under the RxCut folder. Let's see if I can bring this up. If this is working. No, it's logging me out. Hold on a second. And what we do every couple of months, just to really wow everybody, is I take the entire numbers for the whole company and I sort from highest percentage of savings. And it's not coming up right now. My internet's really slow here. So go into your RxCut folder when you have a chance. Look at top 100 savings, and there's about 3 or 4 months worth in there. And those numbers are actual and real. The average savings is over $300 per script. The average savings, 90-some percent. Just outrageous. So depending on the pharmacy, Walmart's one of our most aggressive discounters because they understand that when somebody gets a script filled there, and if they wait for it, they're going to spend $80 on average in that store. So we'll take a lot less profit because they know they're going to get it down the aisles. But yeah, the average savings with us is 42 to 43%, about $34 to $35 per script. But that can vary from pennies to hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
And one last question. Do you have any pushback from any of the pharmacists when they see, hey, this is really cutting down on the price of it, and it's cutting into my profit?
Yeah, of course. And now for cash-paying customers, yeah, that pharmacy is not going to be as profitable, although they're not losing money like with some of our competitor cards. They're always going to make a fair day's profit. And it actually levels the playing field because this pharmacy is everywhere you look. So if they don't take our card, but the one across the street does, they just lost a customer for life. So what we do, the trade-off is they discount their prices for our card holders, and in return, through our pricing tool and search engine, we send traffic to their store. And once someone saves money, You know, it builds client loyalty, and while they're at the store, they're going to buy everything else from cosmetics to candy.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Howard. Next, we have a question from Lisa Herbert. When initially giving out the cards, what do you recommend for introducing the card to a new prospect? Well, if it's for a consumer, it's real simple. You don't want to get too lengthy. You want to lose them after a few minutes. You just want to hand them the card, say, listen, it doesn't matter if you have insurance or not. This card may still save you if you have a generic copay of $10 or higher. Give it a try, but first use the pricing tool before blindly walking into a pharmacy. You've got nothing to lose and everything to save. Pretty simple as that. Another question from Sean. Why is there such discounts? Is it because PBMs pick prices? Jeff Hershey, not really sure what that meant. Our discounts are really aggressive because of a few reasons. We charge lower third-party fees, which keeps the cost of the medication down. Unlike the PBM-based cards, we do not play spread or hold back rebates. All the savings goes directly to the consumer, and the only thing that we make is a very low flat third-party fee. And the pharmacies are usually a lot more profitable with our cards than PBM-based cards because we also pay them a higher dispensing fee by at least $1. Okay, it looks like, I believe, that takes care of all the questions. Well, we kept it under a half hour. Appreciate your time. Thanks to Alicia Jackson, who put together tonight's webinar, well, at least a part of it. Hey, how about a big hand for Alicia, okay? Oh, that's right. I forgot everybody was on hold. Next week, another open mic night with our co-founders, Jerry Furrow and Eric Shugarts. Until then, have an awesome, productive week. Remember to keep positive, and I'll leave you with this thought. Problems are not stop signs. They're nothing more than guidelines. Folks, have a great night. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.